Stay tuned after the bloopers at the end of the video for more information on Dan Tong products featured in the DVD.
Hi, my name is Dan Tong. I've been doing magic for over 50 years. The magic you're going to see on this DVD helped me make a living for over 20 of those years. I think you'll find the material practical, simple to do, and fun. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you add it to your repertoire. Thanks.
I have to tell you that the one routine that I've seen you do that just knocks me dead is your egg bag routine. I think that that's so magical, and I have many people before we came down here to shoot these videos, these DVDs, told me that you need to work with Dan Tong because he has the best egg bag routine ever. Why? Well, I know that you don't want to say that. I will say that this is the best egg bag routine that I have ever seen. Why do you think people feel that way about your egg bag routine?
Well, the fact is I don't know. I've had a lot of guys say the same, that's the best egg bag routine. I says, you know, there's only two things you can do with the egg bag. You vanish an egg and you reproduce it. Or you vanish an egg and produce it, whatever. I don't know. I don't know what it is. The routine I use was worked out in the restaurant. As a matter of fact, I worked it out at home for probably 6 or 7 months. I played with ideas. I took it with me to work probably for 2 more months and never used it, but finally I decided I had to put it on the floor in order to see how it was going to work. And now it has become the second piece in every show I do. It is the second piece, including the glass production. And I don't know. It's a very simple routine. I vanish the egg, or I produce the egg, I vanish it, reproduce it, vanish it, and the spectator produces it in the end. But every phase, there's 3 phases to it, every phase looks different. It is exactly the same thing, but it looks different. The spectator feels around the inside of the bag, does that 3 times before the egg is produced. So now they've had the idea that they know what the bag is. The egg then is vanished, taken out of the, or put in the bag and taken out invisibly and put on the invisible shelf. The bag is turned inside out. The egg is taken from the shelf, given to the lady. She drops it in the bag. It becomes visible one more time. So all we've done is reproduce the egg that we put in the bag. The second phase is basically the same thing, but with the sucker effect, which I don't play very strong. I just play it. Those that catch it, fine. Those that don't, it's okay too. But she feels the egg inside the bag. I apparently place it into this hand, pull up my sleeve, and apparently load. So there's the sucker effect. The egg is reproduced, but in a totally different way, but still reproduced simply by pushing it up out of the bag. The third phase is a visible vanish of the egg, or almost visible, not exactly visible, almost visible vanish of the egg.
That vanish, I watched that vanish, and it just slayed me. It's really, really good.
But all of these things came from Mardo, came from Mellini. It's a Mellini bag that I use. I mean, they're all ideas just picked from different performers. Because again, there's nothing you can do besides vanish the egg and then reproduce it. So my thought was, if I'm going to do this, I wanted to make it look different for each phase. And the production of the liquid is generally clean. It's at the end of the production, and in the right situation, it's a dynamite finish, because she has just pulled the egg out of the bag, and then you push up a cordial full of liquid, which you drink at that point. How we doing over here, guys?
Good.
Hi. Where you from?
Michigan.
Michigan. Gee, that sounds familiar, doesn't it? Yeah, Michigan. I bet you're from Michigan too. Yeah. Do you know what this is? Yeah, well, actually, it's a little red bag.
Come here, sit banana.
It's a little red bag that I had dyed black. It's a long story behind this, but it really doesn't matter. And your name is?
Jamie.
Jamie. Jamie, I'm going to ask you to put your hand in a little bag. Tell everybody what's in the bag, okay? But you have to be very, very careful. No fast or jerky movements because it does bite, okay?
Okay.
All right. Just reach in, tell everybody what's in the bag. Okay, Jamie? Go ahead. Just be careful, okay? Just reach in the bag, tell everybody what's in the bag. Go ahead. What's in the bag, Jamie?
Nothing.
Nothing. You're from Michigan?
Yeah.
We'll do it again.
Okay, all right, I get it.
Okay, put your hand in the bag.
Okay.
What's in the bag?
My hand.
See, the girl from Michigan learns. That's very good. That's very good. Yeah, that's all right. That's good. Nothing in the bag but your hand, right? I mean, you felt it
Right,
around.
yep.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is, the first time you missed your hand, you missed the egg twice.
That was not in that bag.
Now I'm going to show you how this is done. Well, at least I'm going to show you what I saw. This magician took the egg, put it in the bag, took it out of the bottom of the bag, put it up on the invisible shelf, and turned the whole thing inside out. So naturally, the egg was gone. You know where it is, right, Jamie? It's on the invisible shelf. You
right.
want to hold? Okay, just drop it in there. That'd be good. Oh, you did that really good. Didn't you do that good? I thought you did that good. Yeah. The other night I was working a club and the fellow said, it goes up your sleeve. I said, it does not. He said, prove it. So we will. Look in the bag, Jamie. Tell everybody what's in the bag.
An egg.
And your name?
Kent.
Kent. Look in the bag, Kent.
There's an egg in there.
Yeah. Is the first name Clark?
No.
No, aren't you lucky? Okay. Jamie, I want you to feel the egg. Make sure it's still in there. Feel the egg.
Yep, it's right there.
Want to feel some more? It's okay. Okay. Now, I don't want you to think it goes up the sleeve, so let's pull up the sleeve. It can't go up the sleeve, you'd see it. I'll put it in the other hand, and we'll pull up this sleeve as well, okay? Give it a little push like that. I know, but don't tell anybody, all right? All right, okay. Kids don't. It's a kid's trick, okay? Here we go. Just like so. I know, you want to see the other side of the bag. That's the inside. You want to see the inside of the bag? Okay, that's the inside of the bag. Okay? I can tell you're really impressed with this part. You want the egg to come back. Say the magic words.
Abracadabra.
Egg come back. Egg come back.
come
Yeah, it works a lot better than abracadabra, I'll tell you. Oh, yeah. Oh. Same fella, just my armpit. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, you didn't know that. It's all right. The same fella said to me finally, he says, Dan, how's that done? And I said to myself, if I could put this guy in the bag with the egg, when it goes, he'd know. But since we can't do that, we'll leave the bag inside out. It's just like you and I being inside the bag, so when it goes, we should know. Up here. I'm going to do it one more time for the cheap seats. That's you over there. Okay, here we go. One little egg. Watch. One little bag. Nothing on the inside, which is really the outside. We'll put the inside back in, the outside out. Jamie reaches inside one more time. Tell everybody what's in the bag.
My hand.
Oh, she remembered. Okay, Jamie, you got to show your hand both ways, front and back. Reach inside, take it out. Try not to drop it, okay? Just show it to everybody. Isn't that wonderful? You did that really, really good, Jamie. The only thing I couldn't figure is where the drink came from. I could never figure that. You know what I'm saying? First today. Hey guys, enjoy dinner, enjoy the show. Come back and see us again. Bye-bye. See you guys. And now, explanations. Let's consider first the egg bag routine and why I use a Mellini egg bag as opposed to a regular egg bag. Primarily, I make it, that's why I use it. But the main thing is, I think, with the Mellini type egg bag is that its construction. It's very easy to work. You don't have to go looking for the pocket, and you don't have to worry about keeping it nice and flat and so forth, because the material that we use to manufacture it kind of springs right out. At any rate, let's look at the Mellini egg bag and its construction, because that's where the differences come. First of all, now we've got the bag inside out. The bag is made from 5 pieces of fabric. It's all hand finished, and the pocket is not along this seam or along this seam. The pocket is right here in the corner of the bag. That's why the pocket is so accessible, because once you drop the egg into the bag, it sits right at the opening of that pocket. Example, the egg. It's sitting right here, and that's where the opening is. Okay, the next thing we look at is the egg. Now this is a shell This is a blown egg. We've taken the insides out. You can buy them already prepared, or you can make them yourself. And the routine that I use, I finish with a glass production, as you may have seen on the performance portion of the DVD. What I use here is a simple pony. In this particular case, it's coffee, could be tea, could be gin, could be scotch, but no, I shouldn't say gin, it should be scotch or something that's dark. The clip that's holding this is basically the same clip that you can purchase from Repro 71 in England. It's basically a piece of cardboard to give you some strength and a banker's clip. And this unit sits right here. The glass without a cover sits like so. And under those conditions, you can walk around and do probably 2 or 3 other tricks before you decide to do the egg bag, and you won't lose this. Okay, starting position. The egg is placed into the bag, then into the pocket, and then folded in quarters. Fold forward, tip to the left, fold forward again. This way here, the egg is in this corner. If you pick it up out of your pocket or pick it up off the table, all you have to do is get your hand into this area of the bag, and you have control of the egg. Okay, very simple procedure. I will tell you that when I'm doing this as a stage piece, it sits on my table in an ashtray, a small glass ashtray that I have a felt bottom on. In other words, put a piece of felt in the bottom so it protects the egg. But it's sitting in that ashtray, so anytime I pick it up, I know exactly how to find the egg. Now, the routine. It's a 3-phase routine. And I will tell you that this was worked out under pressure in restaurants. So I found a lot of the things that play for me may not play for you, but the basic routine is a 3-phase routine, and each phase, although the same thing happens, it looks different. Example, when I show the bag and tell the story about how I was a little kid, went to a Saturday afternoon matinee, etc., 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 I always get some comment on the fact that this was a little red bag, and he gave me the little red bag. Someone will say something, "That's black." I said, "Yeah, I know, I had it dyed black." That will give you a laugh. I don't know why, but it does. Now, putting the hand in the bag, I don't want to do what most performers do with the egg bag. Most performers will turn the bag inside out or have it started inside out, and they will ask you to check the seams of the bag, how well it's made, and therefore giving an opportunity to apparently look the bag over. I particularly did not like that. I thought it was just bringing too much attention to the bag. So my thought was to have a lady put her hand in the bag. So she puts her hand in the bag. What's in the bag? She'll say nothing. I'll say, "Where are you from?" She'll say, "Ohio." I say, "Okay, let's try one more time." She puts her hand in the bag second time, and usually by the third time they might say their hand, but in most cases they will say nothing. So it gives me the opportunity to say, "Mary, you missed your hand 3 times. You also missed the egg 3 times. So there's the production of the egg. That's the first production. But the spectators had her hand in that bag feeling around. Now, there's only 2 things you can do with the egg bag. You can produce an egg, and you can vanish an egg. So each time we do it, we want to try to make it look a little different. Let's go back to the production. She just had her hand in the bag. We've produced, and now we've produced the egg. And that's when I say, this is the trick this magician did. He placed the egg in the bag, took it out of the bottom of the bag, put it up on the invisible shelf, and turned the whole thing inside out. Now Mary's standing right here, so she knows exactly where the egg is, on the invisible shelf. At that time, we've shown the bag. You don't have to call attention to it. Just turn it inside out, hold on to it. Pocket's right here. Turn it back right side out. Let the egg drop down, reach in, or reach up to the shelf, pick up the egg and hand it to her. Let her drop it in, reach in, produce it. So basically you've done the same trick already now twice. Now, I wanted to get the old under the arm gag in, and I also wanted to get some lines in with a lady. So I bring up the fellow that said, how's that it goes up my sleeve? He said, it must go up your sleeve. I said, no, it doesn't. He says, prove it, so we will. We put the egg in the bag. Now you notice, I don't put the egg in the bag. Drop the egg in the bag. Very important, you drop the egg in the bag. They want to see that egg going in the bag. Once you put your hand in the bag, you could be doing anything. You could come out with it palmed, you could get it up your sleeve. So in the bag, the lady looks in the bag. What do you see? She says an egg. The egg is now sitting right here in this corner at the pocket. It is right on the pocket, at the opening of the pocket. And what I do is turn it upside down, if I will, or turn my hand palm up so that the egg can be pushed right into that pocket. The two middle fingers of the right hand do all that work. So now she gets to feel the egg. Now sometimes she will feel around and say, no, the egg, and finally when she finds it, she said, but if you want to feel some more, go ahead. There's a bunch of little lines you can do with it. At any rate, just so you know, this does not go up the sleeve. We pull up the right sleeve, expose the bag, the sleeve, and portions of the arm. Now apparently pass it into the left hand, which you actually do, but you want to make it look like I've just come out with an egg. It's nothing here. But at any rate, just go up and pull up that sleeve as well. Put this arm to your side. Grab a hold of both corners, let go, the egg is gone. Now we go right back to the opening position. Fold the bag forward, tip to the left, and fold. And that puts the egg back in the same position as we started. All you have to do is put your fingers into the opening of the bag and you got control of the egg. Now at this point there's a nice bit of business you can do by squeezing the bag. It looks like you're squeezing this whole bag up. By just grabbing hold of this bag in this corner and squeezing, the egg is kind of forced off into this corner. Right hand squeezes, the egg moves this way. Left hand squeezes, the egg moves that way. We do that 3 times. We do that 3 times so it looks like this. Then the right hand reaches in, controls that egg because it has it in hand, and turns this bag inside out. All this time, this arm is still up against your shoulder or up against your chest. Poke out the corners and there is the pocket. And what we do now is roll the bag around the egg. Push up, and the egg appears at the top of this fabric tube. At that time, you pull down this sleeve and pull down this sleeve, and you'll get some response to the under the arm business without going through the actual kitty part of it. The bag is now inside out. So for the third and final phase, the bag, as I say, is inside out. And we want to put the bag on the hand with the pocket to the back. And this is the way it's done. At this point here, the fellow said, Dan, how is that done? And I thought to myself, if I could put this guy in the bag with the egg when it goes, he'd know. But since I can't do that, the next best thing is to leave the bag inside out. Now the bag is the pocket in the back, away from the audience, the bag, the plain part of the bag facing me and the audience. So I want to do a slight at this point. I don't want the routine to be totally perfect. In other words, in its operation or mechanics. So we put the egg in the bag, and I say, if I leave the bag inside out, it's just like you and I being in the bag. So when the egg goes, we should know, and reproduce it from the arm or behind. But what we're doing is simply putting it in, putting it out, putting it back in, and doing a feint, just holding it. That's all. Putting it in, popping it out, putting it in, and vanishing it. The starkness of the white against the black gives you that retention of vision. Okay, now as I turn to the right, because I'm going to do this again, I also turn the bag on my hand. Do the paddle move if you want on your hand. So it brings the pocket facing me. So what I'm going to do is, one more time for the cheap seats, I'm going to place this, and as I into the bag and into the pocket. Now what happens is this: the ring finger of the right hand comes forward of the egg, opens it up just enough to get the tip of the egg in there, and you want the narrow end in. So it looks like this, from here to here. But what we've got is this, it's just sitting there. One more time, from here to here. Turn the hand back to the audience, close your fingers, that'll push that egg right into the bag. Open it up, and as you start to turn this way, just take it off into the right hand through both sides. Turn the bag inside out again. Retain the egg in the upper portion of the bag near the top. Allow the spectator to reach into the bag again. What do they find? Nothing. Egg is in the right hand, controlled at the top. Grab the bag with the left hand. When you let go with the right, it will drop directly to the opening, directly to the opening of the pocket. Ask the spectator to show her hands this way and this way. She reaches into the bag and will remove the egg. Now that is your misdirection for getting the load. As she's reaching in, your arm is in front of you. She's reaching in, everybody is watching her. The right hand simply, in this rest position, moves under your jacket, pulls down on this glass, and brings it up behind the bag, and you just grab it in that position. Once they realize that the egg is there, you've had this out here for probably 4, 5, 6 seconds. You say, the only thing I couldn't figure, and what I'm doing is, the only thing I couldn't figure, I'm wrapping the bag around it, is where the drink came from. And have you got a drink production with nothing to get rid of as far as a cover, etc.? First today.
I've been doing the chop cup, my version of a chop cup routine for a ton of years, and the more I do it, the more problems I find with it. And when I saw your chop cup routine, which, by the way, I think is just I think that the routining on your chop cup routine is the best that I've ever seen, and I think it's brilliant what you've done here. Every single time you go to the pot, every move that you make is natural, and every single move that you make, it makes sense. There's a reason for it. Nothing is there's no reason for anybody to suspect that you're doing something because you're not, even though you are.
Right, yeah.
Tell me about how that chop cup routine developed, because I think it's special.
The chop cup routine developed. For years I used basically the Don Allen routine. I'm going to place it into my pocket and without you seeing it, get it back to the cup. Is it under the cup? Is it the gambling procedure, or the gambling guessing game, etc. Which actually everybody was doing it. So, I was playing it at one of the restaurants, and it was literally, as I said, you'd have a load in this pocket and you'd have a load in this pocket. Okay, so I had 2 loads. And it got to a point where I would have to load those because I didn't do it at every table. I'd have to load those, so I'd go up with these 2 loads and do this routine. And one night I was walking back and I stepped on something, and it turned out to be that green ball. Now, there were 2 other magicians on the floor that night, but nobody owned up to owning that green ball, so I put it in my pocket. And then I decided, well, gee, I can get rid of one of these balls and do a color change as opposed to 2 productions, which is what I did. But I decided to stop playing around with some of the other ideas. What is happening? I looked at the Larry Jennings routine. I looked at several other routines, and they were all basically the same. And to do the Jennings routine, I needed the extra glass, I needed the silk, and I needed basically to sit at a table. So I got rid of that idea. Then I just started playing with it. What can I actually do with the ball and the cup? And that's where the whole thing came about. I started out by saying, well, you remember the 3-shell game? Okay, well, this is not the 3-shell game, this is the 1-shell game. But let me explain the cup before I explain the game. And the cup is like the egg bag. It falls into Rick Johnson's too perfect theory. If a trick is too perfect, there's only one solution, and generally they can figure it out. Well, that's what I decided to do with the chop cup. The chop cup is too perfect. So that's when I put in the one bit in the beginning where I do an actual cup and ball move. And from there I said, well, okay, since I'm explaining the cup and how it works, it dawned on me when I got done that part of the routine. I said, now that you understand how the cup works, I'll explain the game. And that's when somebody laughed in the group the first couple of times I was doing it, and I realized they think that's funny. They're saying, oh, wait, what do you mean explain? You didn't explain anything. So I knew that the ball under the cup and then reappearing was working. So that's why in the third phase of the routine, when I come out and say, well, what I didn't tell you about the cup, so we did the trick one time. I said, but what I didn't tell you about the cup, it has a hole in it. It's about 2.5 inches deep. If it didn't have a hole, it'd be a plate. So that's when the idea for the penetration came, because it's a hole in the cup. So it didn't happen like I didn't sit down and put the thing together. It developed from use. You probably have seen the 3-shell game, the 3-card game. Mm-hmm. Well, this is not the 3-shell game. This is the 1-cup game. Instead of 3 little shells and a pea, it's a cup and a ball. And before I tell you how the game works, let me explain how the cup works. You'll notice I've put the ball in the cup. The ball becomes invisible. That's because the cup is opaque. If I tip the cup up, the ball becomes visible on the other side. However, if I put the ball under the cup while the cup is mouthed down, the ball becomes invisible, but permanently. Now, you take that permanently invisible ball, put it on top of the bottom of the cup, give it a push, it'll go through, become visible on the other side. Okay? Now that you understand how the cup works, let me explain the game. I'm going to place the ball into my pocket, and without you seeing it, get it back into the cup. From the pocket to the cup. Okay? From the pocket to the cup. Did you see it go? Said no. It did. Look at that. See, what I didn't tell you, honey, what I didn't tell you is the cup has a hole in it. Yeah, see, it's right here. It's about 2.5 inches deep. If it didn't have that hole, it wouldn't be a cup. It'd be a plate. Yeah. And of course, if you hit the hole right, it goes all the way through. If you don't hit it right, nothing happens. Honey, put your hand right up on top. That's good. Did you catch it? Did you catch? Oh, look at that. Now watch close. I'm going to place the ball in my pocket and get it under the cup without you seeing it. Did you see it go? She said no. It did. Look at that. By now you probably got it all figured out. 2 balls. Look at that.
Oh.
Yeah. One's green. The other one looks an awful lot like that. Oh my gosh. Oh, and I don't understand that. Well, listen, guys. Enjoy dinner. Come back and see us again. And don't wait till next spring break, you know. You can come in next weekend. It's okay. Sure. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay, let's take a look at the chop cup routine. You may have noticed it didn't follow the regular pattern of most chop cup routines. That is a gambling thing, one in the pocket, one in the cup, where is it here or there. What I tried to do is to make the routine versatile, entertaining, but mainly short. I used it when I was doing tables that I might have done 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times before. It was kind of a little thing that I could bring to the table and they would have not seen. So the management of the various props. When I originally started doing this, I was using 2 large loads, one in each pocket, which kind of made you look funny. But the large load goes into the left pocket. The colored load goes into the right pocket along with the magnetic ball. Now, if you are doing this constantly, you might want to put a sponge ball between them in your pocket so that they will be kept separate. In this particular case, I am not going to use the sponge ball, but it is a good way to keep them separate by placing the one ball behind it and the other ball in front of it. Of course, you want to know which ball is which. How do I know, in my case, how do I know which is which? Which ball is which? What happens is that I always place the magnetic ball to the front of my jacket and the colored ball to the back of my jacket. If I was going to be doing this all night, every table, I would use a sponge ball to separate them. However, since I use this only on specific tables, I will set these two balls up just before I go. I'll just take them off my rack, put them in position. I won't lose them. You could also put a small magnet in the front part of your pocket, a small magnet that would attract the magnetic ball. But again, as I said, I didn't have that problem. Okay, so we won't use this, but it is a good idea for those of you that want to keep stuff separate in your pockets. The chop cup is a standard chop cup. This ball is a regular ball. When I go to the table, I would take this, put it on the table, do the rest of the routine. I said, gee, I got one more for you probably haven't seen. That's when I would start with the 3-shell game. You remember the 3-shell game, 3 little shells and a pea? Well, this is the 1 cup game, 1 little cup and a ball. And the first phase is this, very simple. It means absolutely nothing, but it just sets them up. You'll notice that if I put the ball in the cup while the cup is mouth up, the ball becomes invisible. That's because the cup is opaque. If I tip the cup up, the ball becomes visible one more time. This basically just shows that the cup holds the ball and the cup will deliver the ball. It says it's just a regular old cup. Second phase, I'm going to place this ball under the cup. And what I do is I do an old feint, an old cup and ball feint. I tip the cup back and apparently throw this in, but never let it go. Just apparently throw it in. So it looks like this. So I end up with a ball here and nothing under the cup. Second phase. Place the ball under the cup while the cup is mouth down. The ball becomes invisible, but permanently. Now I've got the ball here. We pass the cup to the right hand, pick up the permanently invisible ball as we load the ball into the cup, put the invisible ball on top of the cup. Actually, put it on top of the bottom of the cup. Push it all the way in. It becomes visible on the other side. The next phase is simple. Now that you understand how the cup works, let me explain the game. I'm going to place the ball into my pocket, and then without you seeing it, get it back into the cup. Now what I've done is I've said I'm going to place the ball into my pocket, and as I go into my pocket, I roll this ball down into a low finger palm. Come out with the magnetic ball. So it's an in and an out. Throw the magnetic ball into the cup. As I say, get it back to the cup without you seeing it. You might get a laugh at this point, incidentally. What has happened, I've thrown a magnetic ball into the cup. Thrown the magnetic ball into the cup. I've got the regular ball in my right hand, and I'm going to tip the cup as if I'm removing that magnetic ball. In other words, what I want it to look like is I've just thrown a ball in, and then I've taken it out. Thrown it in, taken it out. Thrown it in, taken it out. Here we go. Now what I've done is I've simply tipped the cup and opened the hand at the same time. Tip the cup onto the hand at the same time. Here's where the balls. Ball's in the cup. Goes down on the table. Not too hard. This ball goes into the pocket and immediately comes out as you pick this cup up and put it down a little bit harder. This time dislodging the ball. Did you? And the patter at that point is, did you see it go? She said no. It did. Okay. At this point here, using the forefinger of the right hand, also we're hiding this ball. I say, what I didn't tell you is the cup has a hole in it. Right here, it's about 2.5 inches deep. If it didn't have that hole, it wouldn't be a cup. It'd be a plate. And I would tip the cup mouth up, take it into the right hand in this position. We drop this ball in it, saying something to the effect that, and if you hit the hole right, the ball goes all the way through. If you don't hit it right, nothing happens. So now we have 2 balls in the cup. One is magnetic. It's going to stay there when we tip this cup up. Okay? So this is where we get the spectator involved. Goes onto her hand, and I usually use a woman for this. This goes into my pocket. The regular ball goes into my pocket. Gives me time to steal the green ball. As I lift this up, did you see it go? She said, no, it did. Cup gets passed to the right hand. This ball is loaded in, placed down over here. As you pick this up and say, by now you have it figured out. I'm sure you've got it figured out. I've got 2 balls. Place it in your left-hand pocket, getting the large load. However, one of them's green. I've just loaded this in here. One of them's green. Load that in. Toss this into this hand. As the left hand picks up the ball, place this down. And the other one looks an awful lot like a lemon. Now, I found in restaurants it's really neat to use potatoes and or a small onion for the final load. It's really neat as opposed to a ball.
All right. Card on line.
Card on the line goes back to the 50s. It's in one of the Ganson books, Routine Manipulation Finale, I believe. It's a Jack Channon idea. Now, I saw Jack do this in 1952, thereabouts, and he was in Boston. He was a guy that would stand out in front of the hotel, you know, work the street. He was a character. But he did this thing, and I was fascinated with it because the line is very, you know, it's confining. It's you know, it's there. It's like you're tied with a piece of rope. And of course, the idea of the big needle in it, that was all very interesting. What the original effect was, a card was selected, signed, put back into the deck, top card turned face up, and different card is skewered with the ribbon. He would then show you that the ribbon ran through both ends, cut the deck, you'd hold on to the line, and then when well, actually what he did is he pulled it up this way here. He pulled it up through the top of the top narrow edge, and the card would apparently have changed right on the line. So it was a change from an indifferent card to the spectator selected card. And I used it like that for a while. Then I realized once you started pulling the card up through the top of the deck, pulling it out this way here, that meant that the ribbon had to run through this way. So that gave me an idea, well, gee, you know, if I was seeing this, I would be a little suspicious about that ribbon running through the deck. So that's when I started playing with it by holding it out, having the spectators hold the end, and just dropping this down and having the card appear. But then I had a wasted card in the deck. I had to get rid of that card. And that's when I came up with the idea that when I do that double lift, that'll be my card. So I write my name on it. Do the skewering with the ribbon and so forth, get the thing off, cut it, have the spectator hold on to both ends, open up at the break, pop my card out. Now it's another trick now. I just took my card off the line. And then when you drop down the deck, their card is on the line. So you've done something totally different. Instead of a transformation, you've done a transposition, their card for your card. And my deck's clean now. I don't have to go looking for it and chuck it out. Okay, Charlie, I'm going to ask you to reach into the deck there, grab a card, any card at all. Anyone except that one, he's going to take it. Okay, Charlie, I want you to write your name, if you will, on that card so that when you see it again and you know it's the very same card you started with. Good, thank you very much. I'll take that back. And we'll place your card back here to the center of the deck. Give the cards a couple of quick cuts and maybe even a quick shuffle. Have a speech impediment, don't make fun. Now we're going to take a card for myself and happen to use, okay, I'll use the 8 of hearts. Adam's name, I'll put my name on it, Dan, right there, 8 of hearts, my card, 8 of hearts. To secure my card, to know it's my card, I'm going to put it on this ribbon. And as you can see, this ribbon runs through both sides of the card. That's from top to bottom and bottom to top, but definitely on the ribbon. As a matter of fact, if we look really close, you can see it actually does go all the way through, both that side and this side here. Okay, let's just cut that back into the center of the deck, and I ask you to hold on to this card and this ribbon, and you hold that in. Very good. Now don't pull too hard. Do you remember the name of my card? 8 of hearts.
Thanks.
Yeah, just watch. Just watch. Just 8 of hearts. Look at that. 8 of hearts. My card. 2 holes. No bigger than they were to begin with. And the name of your card, Charlie?
King of Hearts.
Watch. King of Hearts. the card on the ribbon. What we're going to need for this is a 6-inch pillow needle. This is a little small, but being that it's a 5-inch needle, but you can find the proper needle, 6-inch round point pillow needle. You also need about 2 foot of ribbon, a deck of cards, and a marking pen. Now, the original effect is Jack Channon's, and it was the effect was a card transposition or transformation. What I did over the years is changed it so that it becomes a transposition of 2 cards. So here's the way it works. Very, very simply, we have a card selected. In this case, it's the 5 of clubs. We'll put a big X on the 5 of clubs. Card has been selected, signed, returned to the deck, and we want to control it to the top. And the way I'm going to do it is simply to place the top half of the pack on top of the selected card. Then kick my hand and wrist forward like so, which allows for probably a 1/4 inch of work back here. Leaves a lot of work. Just the weight of the cards leaves those bottom cards stuck out. Now all we have to do is lift up on that card, do a double undercut, and the selected card is on top. Okay. Selected card is on top. This process of cutting and double undercutting not only brings the cards to the top, but allows a card for me to use. What we do here is a simple double lift. Push off 2 cards, square them up, turn them over, and leave them out-jogged a little bit. Now there's 2 cards there, and I'll put an X at the top and an X at the bottom. That's my card. Here's where we skewer the card. We start at the forward end, face up, push the needle through both cards. Needle goes through both cards. Pull the ribbon through until there is just the one ribbon and is only about 5 or 6 inches hanging. Turn the card over, front to back, top to bottom if you will, and skewer from back to front. So first time it's front to back, second time it's back to front. So this is the position we have now, a short end here and a long end here. The object is to get this card off the ribbon, leaving just the one card. And the way it's done is this. The right thumb pulls up on one card, allowing the little finger to get in there, pick up that piece of ribbon that's between the 2 cards, and pull it. That just released one end of the card. You turn it end for end, do exactly the same thing. Ah, that doesn't want to come through, does it? Okay, there it is. It is through. Okay. And what we're doing is showing how it travels from this end to this end, and you've taken their one card off. Cut the deck, have 2 spectators hold on to the ends of the ribbon. And all you have to do now is apply a little bit of downward pressure, because what'll happen is the ribbon will cut the deck exactly at that spot. You reach down in front of that card that is where it opens up, pull this one out, give it a snap, and this is the card that I selected. This is the card that I wrote my name on. So now my card, which was on the line, is off the line. This is hanging, as I say, between 2 spectators, and all it has to do is to drop, because they're holding the line, drop your left hand, and this card will come sliding up just like this. And there's the actual selected card. So the 2 have transposed. One that was on is now off, one that was off is now on.
Thompson Aces.
Thompson Aces. That was shown to me by Frank Thompson back around 1973. It was later published in a Harry Lorraine book called Rim Shots. I do always believe it was Rim Shots. And let's see, I can't remember how he titled it, but Giobbe in his more recent card colleges renamed it Thompson Aces for Frank. Frank was a character. Really, he knew the street too. But at any rate, the ace routine is really a neat, easy way to produce 4 aces or 4 selected cards, since they actually all start on the top to begin with. The nice thing about it is, if you hit a table that maybe for one reason or another nobody wants to take a card, or you feel that the take a card kind of thing is not going to work, you're only going to do maybe one thing here, you might open up with these the production of these 4 aces. And it's very quick, it's very pretty. I mean, the deck just seems to cut. You flip a deck, pack it over, there's an ace. You flip the deck over, there's an ace. Same way with the other 2 aces. You just produce them one at a time. And since you now have the 4 aces, you're in excellent position to follow up with a 2-card transposition of red aces for black aces. And in the DVD, I do a very simple process of using the opener and then following up with one version of the 2-card transposition, and the second version of the 2-card transposition is Daly's Last Trick. And just a nice little piece. Frank opened his gambling routine with that. He published a thing before he died called The Cold Deck. And it's a real neat routine. Starts out with the aces, starts out by planting the aces in the deck, shuffling off and doing a demonstration of controlling the aces, and then a poker hand, and then a face-up, face-down deck, and eventually the cheek-to-cheek type of finale where everything is all facing one way. Nice routine put out through Magic Arts Studio in Watertown, and he opened with that ace production. It's really, really pretty. Well, how are we doing over here, guys?
Good.
Is your first time with us?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't believe that. What are you doing in Sarasota?
Vacationing. Spring break.
That's right. Even they have a spring break for little guys too, huh? That's great. Well, my name's Dan. I come with dinner, actually, is what it amounts to. Yeah. Ready for a little magic?
Yeah.
You are? Good. You like card tricks? I hate
Yeah.
card tricks. You do?
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you like? Old Maid, Go Fish?
Old Maid.
Old Maid, that's good. It's a good game, card game. Can you tell one card from the other? You can? You can. Can you tell me what the name of this card is? Are you ready? I'll see if I can't find it. There it is, right there. Can you tell me the name of that card? Ace of Spades. And look at that, there's the Ace of Hearts. And if you have the Ace of Spades, the Ace of Hearts, and you have the Ace of Diamonds, you've got a pretty good card. And of course, the last ace is the Ace of Joker. But that's okay, Jokers are wild. Do you know that? Yeah, that's why it can be anything. Oh. Let's do that really slow so you won't understand, okay? Watch close. We'll just use these 4 aces. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4. Are you ready?
Yes.
Watch. What is that? Ace of Diamond. That's a red ace. And how many cards do I have left?
3.
3, absolutely right. And that's the Ace of Hearts. Very good. And I'm going to put the Ace of Hearts crisscross on the Ace of Diamonds. Now watch the Ace of Diamonds, the Ace of Hearts change places with these 2 aces. Oh. Want to see that again? In slow motion? How many aces? 1, 2, 3, 4. Absolutely right. And this is the Ace of Clubs. Puppy paws. That's okay. And this one over here is the Ace of Spades. And here I have the Ace of
Hearts.
and Diamonds. No, I have Spades and Clubs. That's okay. The other aces are still over here. Yeah. Okay. We'll start off with 2 aces on top, 2 aces on the bottom. Again, it does not matter what colors or what suits. The first thing we're going to do is get a pinky break above the bottom card. Pinky break above the bottom card. Do a swing cut with half the cards to the left. What we've done is we've just brought the top of the packet and added this to the bottom. Turn over the top card, place it on the table. Turn over the packet, place it on the table. Turn over the next packet, the right-hand packet. Place the card on the table. The last card on the table. As you can see, this could be used not only as an ace production, but could also be used as a reproduction of 4 selected cards, since they all have to come to the top. Okay, once we're in this position, we could do a 2-card transposition, and we start out to make sure that there are 2 cards of the same color in the middle. In other words, there's 2 cards are sandwiched by 2 other cards, and the 2 cards in the middle are the same color. A double lift. A double lift and turnover, we put down this 1 card. Here's a closer look at the double we'll use, or that I use. Actually, I simply fan the cards. Again, the same as we did with a full deck. I give myself that same old pinky break. Turn the cards over. Turn the base back down. Deal down the top card. Count off these cards. We're counting off the 3 cards because we have to get them into a position where we can get another card down there. So in other words, if we're in this position, which is where we're at initially, and I do another double, I'm going to get a red card. So how many cards are left? 3. 1, 2, 3. Absolutely right. This brings another red card up, but it also brings the black to the top. So we're in this position. Now if we want to repeat that but make it look a tad bit different, we alternate the cards, and again we have 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. Counting backwards like that does not, or reversing the order, change anything at all. But we do again the same double lift. I push off 2, square up and get my break, turn it over, turn it down, put it down. And this time I push this forward. I see the other red card, so push back, pull back 1 card, pull out 2. And again, we have the 2-card transposition.
I know that a lot of magicians are going to dismiss this professor's nightmare of the rope routine that you did. That everybody's seen Professor's Nightmare, but you have a way to end this thing that I haven't seen before, and I'm hoping that magicians take the time to focus on this thing to see what you're really doing, because what you're really doing is completely different. Your count is completely different. Beyond that, the ending is startling, I would say.
Well, good. I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, that actually is a portion of my stand-up rope routine that I would do for larger tables. The premise is we're going to teach someone how to do the famous cut and restored rope, and instead of having just one opportunity to restore the rope, we cut the rope into thirds, and then I give the 3 pieces to the individual. He gives them back to me one at a time, and now they're all in different lengths, so we have to correct that. And then you're right, from there on the count is different. The count, incidentally, was not mine. It was passed on to me from a cruise ship entertainer. I have no idea whose it is, actually. And but the count is very simple. The way I set it up is much simpler too, as we talked about earlier. And the finale, the finish, where the rope is back into one piece. Yeah. And that I've been doing that probably since 1973. Goes way back. Well, let's see, my first stand-up lecture material was put together in 79 or 78, so this was way before that, so 73 is about right. So, and it plays well, and it always gets good response. Charlie, have you ever done magic before?
No.
No, fantastic. We got a virgin. It's first time. Fantastic, Charlie. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to teach you how to do the famous cut and restored rope. Are you right-handed or left-handed?
Right.
Right, good. I'll let you hold these scissors. They are a right-hand pair of shears. I think you'll agree, Charlie, that if we were to cut this rope, or actually if you were to cut this rope right about here, you'd end up with 2 fairly equal pieces of rope. But since this is your first time, what we're going to do is count this or set this rope up so that you can cut it twice and have 3 pieces of rope fairly equal, consequently giving you 2 opportunities to cut and restore. So we give it a cut right about there. That's good. Down below. And once you've done that, I'll take those scissors. You're making me nervous. Okay, Charlie, I'm going to give you the ropes. I'd like you to take all 3 of them in the left hand, if you will. Just like that. Hold them up like so. With the forefinger and thumb of the right hand, reach over and grab a hold of one end, any end at all. You're going to pull that end out of that hand, but you're not going to drop anything else. So would you do that? Go ahead, just kind of pull it right on out. That's good. That's wonderful. Okay, that's 1 piece of rope. Reach over and grab a hold of another piece of rope there. Any one will do. Just to kind of pull it right. Oh, that's neat, Charlie. Yeah. What kind of work did you do, Charlie? Retired? Yeah.
Surgeon.
Surgeon? Glad to. Vascular surgeon, maybe? Yes. Charlie, you know, my grandmother always used to tell me you could always tell how long a piece of rope was by how far apart the ends were. Because you know what that means. Charlie, have you got another piece of rope over there? Thank you very much. Just kind of pull it on. That's good. Wonderful. You did really good. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. 3 equal pieces of rope. Actually, if what my grandmother said about the ends of the rope determining the length of the rope, if we put all the ends of the rope the same distance apart, the ropes will be all the same length, right? Maybe. Actually, if you give them a pull, you can see that they will be, actually, as you can see, all the same length. As a matter of fact, if we look at these very, very closely, we'll find that we have one that's this long, one that's this long, and one that's this long. Right back to where we started from, right, Charlie? No, Charlie, we started 1 piece of rope, and that's what we're getting to, 1 piece of rope. Let's just give this one a tie here and a tie there, and we have 1 piece of rope with a knot. Over here we have another piece of rope tied with that, have another piece of rope with 2 knots. Now the idea is very simple, Charlie. We're going to teach you how to get rid of the knots so that you put the ropes back into one simple, single piece. First thing you have to do is to learn to wiggle the fingers of the right hand. That's good. And as you wiggle the fingers of the right hand, get a little flex to the wrist. That's very good, Charlie. Flex and a wiggle. I'm going to place the knot in my left hand. What I want you to do is to wiggle the fingers of your right hand over the left hand, and the knot will become one with the rope. As the first one, Charlie, you did that very good. You got 1 more to go. You want to try again? Go ahead. Fantastic. You softened it up enough so you could take it off, Charlie. It's yours right there. Ladies and gentlemen, put the whole thing back together again. Charlie, you did fantastic. You did a great job. This is an explanation for the cut and restored rope with the interlude of the Professor's Nightmare and the complete restoration. And the reason I'm doing this is so that you could see how you could possibly handle with one effect a large table. Sometimes you have tables of 8 or 10. You can't get really do any close-up stuff because you're on one corner and the people on the other end don't get to see you. So you can stand back, and with one guy you can basically do a stand-up type routine. There are also some ideas in here which we'll take some time on to pass on to you guys, so that you might find you could use a couple of these little ideas in your own rope routines. Okay, the premise, of course, is that we're going to teach Charlie here how to do the cut and restored rope. I won't go into all the pattern that I use because it's peculiar to myself. However, we come to the point of saying, Charlie, have you ever done magic before? He'll say,
No.
no. I say, oh, look, we have a virgin. Fantastic. Charlie, I'm going to let you hold my scissors. Be very careful. They're right-handed shears. And I think you'll agree, Charlie, that if we were to cut this rope right about here, you'd end up with 2 fairly equal pieces. Well, what we're going to do is cut the rope into thirds so that you will have 2 opportunities to restore the rope. Now, what we're going to do is to set this up for Professor's Nightmare, and if I'm not mistaken, this is Slidini's method. We crisscross the right-hand pieces, or the right-hand piece over the left-hand piece. I've got my fingers in between, thumbs and first finger holding the crisscross ends. By pulling on the exposed end that's to the right and behind, the end that's behind this piece, by pulling it down till it's almost even with the center of the rope or the third of the rope, and then pick this up. We have now basically set this rope up to cut into Professor's Nightmare. And what we're doing is we're going to cut here and we're going to cut here. So let's look at that again, because if you don't get this right, you will actually have cut rope. Okay, from this angle, right over left, take the left, pull it down, pull up a little loop here, and we're set to cut the rope. Let's do it, Charlie. Just reach in there and cut that piece of rope. Wonderful. Down below. And that's when I say, you better give me those scissors. You're making me nervous. We'll get rid of these. Now, we actually have, as you can see, a medium-sized piece, a short piece, and a long piece. So at this point here, what I do, because everyone thinks that Charlie has just cut this rope into 3 equal pieces, I just collect them all into my left hand and pass them on to Charlie, having him take them in his left hand. The chances are, when I ask him to pull one of these ropes out of his hand, the chances are, because he has only 3 pieces showing, 2 of the ends are of the same small piece. The chances are excellent that he's going to get the small piece. So would you just reach over and grab a hold of one of those pieces, Charlie? You're going to pull that out of your hand, but you're not going to drop anything from this hand. And of course, this is a surprise. This is a surprise to everybody. And that's when I use that line. I said, you know, my grandmother always said you could always tell how long a piece of rope was by how far apart the ends were. Of course, you know what that means, Charlie. That's a short piece of rope. Grab a hold of the other one there and just kind of pull that out as you will. Now this one is going to be the medium-sized piece of rope, and when it works this way here, you see everything graduates from small to medium and then to large. Have you got one more there, Charlie? Oh, just kind of grab a hold of it anyway. It'll be okay. Oh, look at that. Now I know this doesn't sound like much, but at this point I say 3 equal pieces of rope. For some reason it gets a laugh. Now I'm going to set this up to do the Professor's Nightmare, to do the stretching. Now you'll notice there's no pulling through, there's no funny moves, because what we do is simply start with the first one in the left hand, the short piece, the medium-sized piece is next, and then the long piece. Instead of trying to feed this through, simply reach around front, grab a hold of the little piece, bring it over and far to the left. That encircles both the short or the medium and the long piece, encircles it. Then reach down, take the medium-sized piece, put it to the right, and then the long piece also to the right. So now we're set to do the stretch. You didn't have to do any funny feeling through, pulling through. Now, what's going to happen is the little pieces, the 2 ends, the short ends, are going to be also encircling this piece, which is the medium-sized rope. So if you just slide your hands down, grab a hold of the 3 pieces at this end, and give them a flick around like so, that will untangle everything, and it makes it look pretty natural. So now I am in this position. The long piece with the short ends are on the right, and the middle-sized piece is to the left. Now I'm going to do a count that requires no switching of ends. First of all, I get my ring finger, little finger, and middle finger between the loop of the long rope. I reach down, pull this and count 1. As I come back to count 2, I take the 2 short pieces, the little piece of rope, and as I take this, I let this go and pull this away. So there's absolutely no switching of ends. Well, I guess maybe I switched an end, didn't I, Charlie? But in the true sense. 1, 2, and 3. Now we want to go to the complete restoration. This is my setup. I tie this off into a knot. Now, because this is the short piece of rope, it's going to be a sliding knot. So there's one piece of rope with a knot. Tie the knot off again, tie these two off again into a knot, and we have a piece of rope with two knots. If you have some long ends, then we just get rid of these. Now, we're going to teach Charlie how to do the magic at this point. We're going to teach Charlie how to wiggle his fingers so we can do the magic. So what you do, Charlie, is like so. Just wiggle the fingers of the right hand. That's excellent. Now, as you get that wiggle, you get a little flex to the wrist, so it's kind of a... Okay, Charlie. All right. Now, what we're going to do is place the knot in the left hand. Now, this is the sliding knot. This was the small piece of rope. We'll place the knot on the left hand, Charlie, and what I want you to do is to wiggle your fingers over the left hand containing the knot. Now, as I say that, wiggle your fingers over the left hand containing the knot. I open the hand, pick up the knot, and then just do a fake transfer, a put and take. The knot does not go back into the left hand. You just slide it on down until you hit this knot, the genuine knot. Once the genuine knot is in your hand, you let the sliding knot become exposed. All attention is over here. Charlie's wiggling his fingers over the left hand. The rope is restored at that point. You can push this out at that time with the forefinger and thumb. Just give it a little push, and it just kind of exposes itself. So you got one more to go, Charlie. You do as if you're going to pull it off. One more time, I want you to wiggle your fingers over the knot. Nothing seems to happen, so you reach over and actually slide it off, giving him the knot. Souvenir. One day that's going to be worthless. Now, this is a situation. We have a knot here which is genuine. So if we do this, we could show the hands completely empty. And all I'm doing is the left hand is coming into and behind this knot, and the right hand is then running off to the right. To come back, you do exactly the same thing. So in other words, we're transferring the knot behind the fingers from here to here. So what it looks like is we've just taken the knot off, handed it off to Charlie, and Charlie has completed or completely restored the rope. At that point there, you just coil everything up and drop it onto your table. Charlie, have you ever had your mind read?
Nope.
Oh, it's your lucky day. You know what this is, right?
A deck of cards.
Well, it's actually a pack of cards. A deck would indicate it was complete. This is not complete. This is many cards from different decks that I've used over the years. So there's duplicate cards in here, there's triplicate cards in here, but it doesn't matter because every card has a different name. And all you have to do is think of anyone that you can see. You think of anyone you can see, I'll name it, because everyone has a different name. Have you got one in mind?
I do.
You've seen it.
Yes.
It's in the pack.
Yes.
Okay, are you ready?
ready.
Concentrate on your card. The name of the card you're thinking of is Jack.
No.
No. What do you mean, no? What was your card? What were you?
3 of diamonds.
Three of diamonds. See, that's it. 3 of diamonds. What did I say? Jack. It's my deck. I can name him anything I want. Name this one Jack. Actually, I named this one Dan, and this one's Bev. There's Al and Eric and Maria, Chris and Bob and Jill. And look at Jack and Jill. There you have it. That's it. This is the explanation for Jack, which I'm sure most of you probably realize exactly what we had here. However, it's the kind of trick that is not going to be, your number one piece, but something you carry in your back pocket where you maybe got to throw something in. It's kind of cute. It gives you a couple of laughs which you don't get from the regular versions, Oscar, Phil, and some of the others. What I've done here is taken old cards that I've had laying around, and some of them are blue, some of them red, some of them are bicycle, some of them are aviator. It matters not. Just grab yourself a whole bunch of cards. And for every 9 that you have, make sure there are at least 2 nines of clubs. If you've got 3 nines of clubs, it really doesn't matter. If you've got 4 nines of clubs, it doesn't matter. But have at least 2 of each card. So if you want to make these up from scratch, you simply get yourself 2 decks of cards, take 26 from this deck, 26 from this deck, and the other 26 and 26 will make you a second deck. And what we do is this. On half of the cards, we print the name Jack. We print the name Jack on half the cards. On the other half of the cards, we print the names like Bob and Chris and Amanda, Eric, Al, etc., and even Jill. So, we've got a deck of cards, 26 of which are Jack, 26 of which are mixed names. Don't worry about the colors of the backs, just use everything you got. And for every 8 with Amanda on it, there's going to be an 8 with Jack on it. For every 6 of spades with Jack on it, there's going to be a 6 of spades with something else on it. The Jack cards go on the bottom of the packet. Now what makes this different is that we're going to have someone think of a card. And then we're going to read their mind. We're going to tell them what card they're thinking of. Now in the older effect, Oscar, they'd think of a card that they saw, and then you would say the name of the card you're thinking of is Oscar. Well, that was the end of the trick. When you say Jack, they still think you're playing with cards. So here's the basic premise again in the pattern. Have you ever had your mind read? No. Oh, it's your lucky day. You know what this is? They generally say a deck of cards. You know, this is actually a pack of cards. This is made up from old decks, from old cards that I've had laying around. There's duplicate cards here, there's triplicate cards here, but it doesn't matter because every card has a different name. Now I'm going to ask you to think of any one card that you see here. Make sure you have it, and make sure it's in the deck, make sure you can see it. And if you think of a card, I should be able to name the card you're thinking of. Then I say to him, have you thought of a card? Let us say he looked at the King of Spades. That's the card he wants, the King of Spades. What I do is I shuffle the deck off. I shuffle the deck off as I'm talking. I just shuffle the face part of the deck and put it back on top. The reason I do that is because he might have seen the King of Spades that's way up here. So we want to rearrange the position of the cards. Just doing this gives you the impression that you are shuffling. But it's only the front section that's shuffled. So at any rate, he has thought of a card, and you sat back and you say, the name of the card you're thinking of is Jack. He'll say no. I said, what do you mean no? He says, no, it wasn't Jack. I said, what card were you thinking of? He'll say it was the King of Spades. I says, well, what did I say? He said, you said Jack. I says, yeah, that's right. It's my deck. That's Jack. I can name him anything I want. So you get another laugh. They say, really? Really? I told you all the cards had different names. There's Bob, there's Chris, there's Amanda, there's Eric, there's Al, there's Bev, there's Dan, there's Jill. Look at that, Jack and Jill. And that's basically it. It's no big deal, but it's a killer for the little time that you need to get a little extra laugh in there. You need to get a little extra trick that doesn't cost you anything as far as time or money goes. When I say, you know what this is, say, a clown nose.
Okay.
Or do you know what this is? Say, no. That's even better. Say no. Okay. You guys ever seen a Florida ice cream cone? Looks like this. I like strawberry. Of course, you know what that is, right?
It's a ball.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry. No.
You won't know, that's correct.
I knew you were thinking about it because I watched you. Okay.
I didn't know whether to do no, clown nose, or ball.
Totally confusing the hell out of him, man.
Yeah, that's great. No, that's all right. No, it's a ball. No. You know? No. So it doesn't really matter what you say. I don't sound laughing.
Just say no.
Just don't think about it too hard.
Yeah, right. Yeah, don't even think about it. Because, all right.
You're a doctor, for Christ's sake.
3, 2.
Have you ever got, if you, Charlie, I tell you what I'd like you to do. Touch one of these balls. Whichever ball you touch, I get to use.
What's your name, sir? Charlie. Charlie, you know what one of these is?
Oh, dear. Now, before I explain the game, let me explain how the cup works. First of all, you'll notice if I drop the cup,
Sorry.
if I drop the,
Again.
start again?
Yep. You can't have in the middle of the routine and you slamming the ball against it. That won't work. We're gonna have to do it again.
I thought you said it was okay to swear.
You can swear.
Hey, Charlie, have you had your mind read?
Yes.
You have. I was going to say this is your lucky day, but I guess I can't. That's okay, Charlie. This is your lucky day. Do you know what this is? So you might see duplicate cards, might see triplicate cards. It doesn't really matter because they're all different. So they're they're all different in that. Oh, this is no good unless I get the pattern right. Charlie, have you ever had your mind read? No.
Charlie's submarine us again, folks.
Charlie, you're just starting to piss us off.
Who the hell hired this guy?
We're paid up too much.
They don't call me Torpedo Scott.
Oh, it's time for a coffee break. You're going to count me back?
Yes.
Okay, I want a coffee break.
To purchase any of the finely crafted props, TDC holdouts, and or Marlini egg bags featured in the DVD series, visit www.magicbypauline.com.